Ubaba ukhuluma kule video uthi uPresident Jacob Zuma wephula imithetho eminingi akufanele ngabe abantu bayamethemba. Uthi okokuqala uPresident Jacob Zuma uphuma ejele kanti okwesibili futhi uzwana nezigebengu eziningi kabi. Ubese efika nezimpendulo zakhe ke echaza kabanzi ukuthi kungani esho njalo.
It's actually not a topic, it's a question that I intend to ask every person who is going to watch this recording. And I also intend to provide you with all supporting facts that would assist you to make a decision of whether you are going to be part of this MKP circus or not. The question is, can Zuma be trusted? No matter how hard I try, I fail to comprehend why this demented geriatric, who was released from jail due to a terminal illness, is so obsessed with becoming the state president again. Zuma is a serial lawbreaker who can't be trusted, especially since he surrounds himself with a gang of criminals and unrepentant ex-convicts. Any rational person would be extremely concerned about this man's constant involvement in scandal, corruption, fraud, and theft. All this information that I'm about to remind you of is well documented and readily accessible. Yet Zuma supporters choose to be oblivious to these facts, and they still treat him as some kind of a messiah who is going to deliver them to the promised land. It's absolutely frightening how gullible these people are to Zuma's lies and his love of tyrants, despots, and other shady characters. Zuma is taking advantage of naive, ignorant, unsuspecting members and supporters who are blinded by their unconditional love and loyalty for him. I have no doubt in my mind that the likes of Mpofu, Shivambu, Hlope, and all other criminals that Zuma has put in parliament know exactly what is going on. The fact is, MKP is a crime mafia, and its establishment has absolutely nothing to do with politics. MKP is nothing but a heist in progress. It's a crime scene and a time bomb waiting to explode. We are talking about a man who was directly implicated in the murder of Muziwake Ngwenya, aka Tamizulu or TZ. TZ was a chief of staff of the MK base in Angola, and he was trained in Russia. In 1983, at the tender age of 29, TZ was promoted to commander of MK's operations in Natal. Zuma was totally not happy about that. He actually vehemently opposed that appointment. And his argument was that TZ was a Soweto boy and had not grown up in Natal. The truth is, Zuma felt threatened by this charismatic and sophisticated young Zulu man. TZ quickly rose and moved up the ranks and was popular with MK leadership. Out of concern, TZ told his parents there was bad blood between him and Zuma. In 1987, Zuma was appointed head of intelligence. And under his leadership, the intelligence started detaining MK members at the slightest suspicion. And according to the testimony before the TRC, they tortured and executed some of these men. For reasons only known to Zuma, TZ was also put in a cell and in solitary confinement and was severely tortured. TZ's father flew to Lusaka twice in a space of 6 months. And on both occasions, he was denied permission to see his son by Zuma. TZ was eventually released after 14 months as a bag of bones, and he died 5 days later at the age of 35. Though the ANC said he died of AIDS, a post-mortem found that he had been poisoned with diazinon, which is an insecticide. A forensic expert also confirmed that the poison was administered in the beer that TZ was made to drink just a few days before his release from detention. MK officially declared at the time that no shred of evidence has ever been found that TZ was anything other than a loyal, capable soldier of the ANC. The two top leaders of MK, Joe Modise and Chris Hani, praised TZ in glowing terms at his funeral as a hero, a giant, and gallant fighter. After 1990, Chris Hani, who repeatedly tried to warn the leadership that TZ might be killed, told journalists that TZ was just a victim of paranoia and hysteria about the possibility of the apartheid regime infiltrating MK. From the newspapers, it seems Chris Hani himself pointed the finger at Zuma, which may be one of the reasons Chris Hani was assassinated. Till today, Zuma himself has never commented on TZ's death. This is the same man who was charged along Shabir Shaikh for receiving bribes in the 30 billion arms deal. We all know that Sheikh was found guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison, of which he only served a total of 2 years and 4 months, while Zuma has been evading his trial for almost 30 years now. This is the same man who raped the daughter of a fellow comrade and a prison inmate, purely because she was wearing only a kanga and no underwear on the night in question. Fezekile was comfortable around Zuma because she considered him a father figure and literally called him uncle. Bear in mind that not only was Fezekile's father Zuma's fellow member in the ANC, but he also spent 10 years in prison alongside Zuma on Robben Island. The incident occurred at Zuma's home on the 2nd of November 2005. And on the 8th of May 2006, the court predictably dismissed the charges, agreeing with Zuma that the sex act in question was consensual. Fezekile had no chance of winning the case since Zuma had unlimited access to the best and the most expensive white advocates, whereas she didn't. Zuma's supporters rallied behind him and demonized the woman to the point that she fled the country in 2007 and eventually died a pauper in 2016. This is the same man who lied about his wife Mantuli poisoning him. The criminal investigation was dropped because the state doctors found no poison in Zuma's system. And we also know that his Minister of State Security, David Mahlobo, illegally detained Mantuli. The same Mahlobo who, according to the testimony at the Zondo Commission, delivered bags full of cash to Zuma. This is the same man who received 1 million rand a month from the company Royal Security after he became president and never paid tax on it. This is the same man who repeatedly lied about the so-called intelligence dossiers that he used to slander his critics and brand them as apartheid spies. This is the same man who stole 250 million to renovate his private compound in Uganda in 2009. By the way, the security improvement project was not even supposed to exceed 100,000 rands. Surprisingly, Zuma was made to pay back only 7.8 million rands, which was a loan from VBS Mutual Bank in 2016, and he later defaulted on his payment. This is the same man who single-handedly destroyed all state-owned enterprises. This is the same man who outsourced his presidency to the Guptas and gave them a carte blanche to hire and fire cabinet ministers. Of almost 60 billion rands of public funds tainted by state capture, the Guptas benefited a whopping 15.5 billion from their relationship with Zuma. This is the same man who was found guilty of contempt of court by the Concord in June 2021 and was handed a 15-month prison sentence as a result. This is the same man who escaped treason charges for trying to overthrow the government in 2021 and almost collapsing the country as he was the central figure in a violent insurrection that resulted in hundreds of people dying and cost the country billions of rands. Lest we forget that he benefited from the spineless Ramaphosa who created a special remission for him. This is the same man who had already been indicted 3 times and is currently facing the following charges: 1 count of racketeering, 1 count of money laundering, 2 counts of corruption, and 12 counts of fraud. This is the same man who has recently been named a dear friend and financial beneficiary by Louis Liebenberg, the sole MKP funder who scammed diamond investors of more than 4 billion rands through his company Forever Diamonds and Gold. Liebenberg has confirmed live on video that he was funding MK since its inception until Vladimir Putin took over that responsibility. Liebenberg was seen shouting "Viva MK, Viva MK" in one of his court appearances. We all know that Putin is not charitable and would never get involved in anything he doesn't stand to benefit. So it's vividly clear that Zuma's plan was to sell the country to his friend Putin, just like he sold it to the Guptas. This is the same man who is mischievously alleging that MK party was robbed of votes in the 2024 general elections and is recklessly telling his supporters that they have evidence that votes were stolen. Zuma has been speaking of approaching an international court over this issue, though he knows very well that the International Court of Justice has no jurisdiction to deal with applications from individuals, non-governmental organizations, political parties, corporations, or any other private entity, but only states are eligible to appear before it. The International Criminal Court also deals with the most serious crimes like genocide, crime against humanity, and war crimes. He can't even turn to the continental courts because his claim does not hold water in any of them. Mind you, we don't have an international court or regional court in Africa that could hear the matter on voting, which means in terms of Southern Africa, there is absolutely nothing of that sort that Zuma can use. The SADC tribunal no longer exists. It was dissolved during Zuma's state presidency with other member states. He can't go to the East African Court of Justice because that is for East African community members only. Even the ECOWAS court belongs to the West African community members. The African Court on Human and People's Rights jurisdiction only applies to the interpretation and the application of the African Charter of Human and People's Rights disputes. I heard Zuma's parrot and personal imbongi, Floyd Shivambu, saying the same bullshit 2 weeks ago at the MKP's anniversary celebrations. So, do you all want to tell me that not even a single person in the MK party knows this? Not even Advocate Mbofu or Judge Hlophe. The fact remains, MKP failed to win elections outright, and their plan to steal the votes through courts and hand the country to Putin in a silver platter is obviously not working. So Zuma's only option is to put the country through the most violent unrest we have ever seen, for which he is prepared and willing. Zuma is ready to burn down the entire country in exchange of money. He has never cared about poor black people or the land. Still doesn't and never will. All Zuma cares about are his pockets. And he has proven that multiple times. Zuma have deliberately fragmented the black vote. He has single-handedly destroyed the oldest political movement in the continent and literally collapsed the economy of South Africa. For all this, history will definitely judge him harshly.